What's the story, our lad? What's the story, our? What's the story, our lad? What's the story, our? Our!
All right, our lads.
Grand, our lad.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to What's the Story Hour, coming to you from the Irish Institute of Music and Song. Well, not live, recorded. How are you, Ray?
It's live now.
It's live now.
I'm Grant Keefe, not a bother yourself.
I'm a bit better now. I was in a horrible mood all day today. Thanks, Jet Hendrick, for that. Enemy Ray,
Let's
I'm not going to talk about it just yet.
That's the better.
Who's been bowling the brig hour?
A few. We've our first celebrity crime today.
Oh, here
Celebrity. We'll start you off with the story of Muhammad, 19 years old, from Dunsatna. No, not Ali. Professional footballer.
Oh, right, yeah.
Playing for a League of Ireland team. I won't say who. Anyway, the long and short of this was, well, let's say the long and short of it, this was actually quite a long one. Basically, to give it the kind of clip notes, he was stopped several times over the space of a few weeks, driving his car with, basically he was on a learner permit. He'd no qualified driver with him. The one time he did have a qualified driver with him, your man was actually disqualified from driving, so he's not a qualified driver.
He's not qualified either.
All this sort of fucking carry on, right? But basically just the lip out of him. So basically the cop stopped him one day and his answer was, "You're not taking the fucking car." Another day was, "Fuck off, I'm not having your shit today." Another day he called them, can I say it? The R word. I'll just fuck say. He called them retards, is what he called them, and a pack of handicaps. This is all
very nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not Muhammad now. I mean, you want to fucking calm down, like,
Got to take the car off.
So this would say wouldn't give them the keys. Said resisted arrest, the lot. All this sort of fucking carry on. Anyway, the solicitor came in to bat and said he was very frustrated. They didn't say why he was frustrated, but he was very frustrated and he was genuinely remorseful for his actions. He doesn't drive anymore. Apparently, he sold the car. But the judge basically wasn't having a bar of any of this fucking shit. So he's 2 months in jail, a €500 fine, and a 2-year ban from driving. So he'd be doing well getting the train now on fucking Bus Air and Irish Rail and whatever else, but there you go.
They saved the diesel.
That's it. We'll move on to the story of a man who fancied himself as some kind of Robin Hood, according to the judge. So John, 40 years of age, Key Street. Basically, this was during, or not during the lockdowns. It was when pubs were only doing the outdoor, takeaway points. Yeah. So John was over in Skerries anyway, and the queues were a bit too long for John for nipping in and out, going for a slash. So what he did was he broke the public toilets there down the harbour in Skerries.
Yeah.
So he broke them open. This was his thing. He was like, took matters into his own hands. Broke them open anyway. So when the guards arrived, he told them to get the fuck out of here, and they said he started beating his chest, like fucking like a gorilla. So he started beating his chest. He was arrested anyway, and he continued to be abusive. But basically, John reckoned that the locks that he broke cost a tenner each. So he brought 20 quid to the court with him to pay for the locks.
That's brilliant.
But yeah, so he got he was convicted of all this, threatening and abusive behaviour, public intoxication. So he got a month in jail and a €200 fine. So and I'll finish it off with the story of James, 23, Clonusc. This is a different one now, different type of thing than we've had before. So basically, James let fraudsters use his bank account to money launder, essentially. Well, actually not, to steal money. So what happened was James James' bank account details were used by fraudsters who contacted a couple of businesses.
Right.
Basically saying, and what they said was, oh, our bank details have changed. So the business thought that this was coming from a supplier. So our bank details have changed. So if you're making payments to us, you send it to this bank account.
Right, yeah.
Which was your man James's, right? So one payment was 6,370. There was two payments of over 1,000 paid in, and all the money was like withdrawn, from ATMs and used for online transactions and all this sort of stuff.
No, but I have to
now, what I'd say is, from reading it, I think your man James was just stupid as opposed to, being an actual criminal. I think it sounded like something very basic. He got fucking bullied into it, to be honest. He got 2 years in jail though, but the sentence was suspended for 2 years, so he basically has to watch himself for the next couple of years. But instead, one little slip up now, that's him fucked.
Should change banks.
Well, that's it. Should change banks, all right. But didn't say if he spent the money or not now. But the money was definitely it was all taken.
It disappeared.
But that's her this week, Frag. Nothing strange or unusual. There was a few. There was actually two robbing bottles of vodka ones that come up as well, and there was one with 115 previous convictions.
Oh,
but that's that in a nutshell. Nothing mental this week, but shout out to Robin Hood there. I hope he's doing all right with his 1 month in jail.
Shout out to the Aero. What's his name? Aero Eldon and Georgie May. Seen you working hard in Pinewood there yesterday, lads. Keep up the good work.
How would you work that?
So painting.
Oh, they're painting. I thought you were taking the piss there.
No, genuinely gets a shout out.
Yeah. But Frag, your favourite time of the week?
Oh yes, it's time for a random pony.
Well, it's just a bit around the pony. Yeah.
Well, I know you always say United or Pony, but boy, Jesus. I'm changing the title now to Ireland or Pony.
That was the word I've used before. I said turgid.
I thought we were going, I actually thought we were going the right direction. And then I realised on Saturday that we're not. And then I realised last night that we definitely ain't going there. Well, it's not that we're not going the right direction, it's just that there's 4 players in that pitch that are going the wrong direction. And it's the only comfort I'm taking out of all of this is the 21 team is looking pretty decent, and there's definitely 4 or 5 players that can definitely come into that senior squad and make a difference, I think.
They should be in there now.
The only reason
they should be in there.
The only reason they're not in there is because they're on the cusp of qualifying for the bloody tournament.
Yeah.
Where the last time they done the same thing, they took the likes of Parrott and that out, and they blew it. But it's bad. Fucking Jeff Hendrick.
Told you, I said this the last night.
How did he play 180 minutes? Really?
The last time he got his hair cut, played the best football of his career.
But he want to get a fucking cut again.
That's it. Now he's rocking around like fucking Jennifer Aniston, like fuck's sake.
And we're moving on because I was very upset going to work this morning. I haven't let a result get at me like that in a long time. Even we lost on Saturday, I've forgotten about 10 minutes later. But this morning I was like a demon.
Yeah.
And we're moving on. Love Island's back.
Yeah.
Moving on. I'm not going to date for that one.
Oh, it's a load of garbage.
I'm not going to say anything because I'll get a hide when I get home now. I had a little browse at it there on Monday. I'll have another look, see what's occurring.
Nah, couldn't. I would actually rather stare at a turned off telly than watch that shit.
I'm upsetting my wife now.
Look.
Well, did you have your flag out for the Jubilee?
The Jubilee. They say that to my sister was saying they went off camping in the bog arse of nowhere for the whole weekend. She was just, I can't deal with these cunts now for 4 days. Like, so
Ross Stewart should have fucking waved the white flag and was higher.
I only seen the thing this morning. What was he? Was he full as a boot?
I just can't sing anymore. He's 77 years old.
I thought that when I was reading it, I just thought he was pissed or something. Remember that time he rocked up to the Scottish Cup draw?
Oh, pissed
He was bananas.
That was funny. Well, mate, the Black Eyed Peas are at it again.
At what? Lady humps?
No, they were in Galway and they thought they were in the UK.
Why does everyone get this wrong?
Like, can their agents not? Can their agents of people that are playing gigs, can they not go, listen, come here, there's a couple of conditions you need to know. Ireland is not in the UK. And Dublin is not in Galway.
Yeah.
Or in Drogheda or anywhere else.
Gigs are in though, like, say, you go to festivals, Oxygen, you know, hello Dublin. No, not in Dublin, pal. Are the same, but was the year Oasis did Slane? They did a, like, you know, fucking Dublin.
So there are some fucking league.
No, yeah. So I was like, alright, Dublin or whatever.
You won that nightclub in Drogheda one night, you won Jordan.
Yeah?
Jordan. Oh, that didn't
Jesus
go down
Christ.
well at all, let me tell you.
Oh, what a day. Love Andy.
Moving on. Oh, don't start now, right? Anyway, moving on. This is a bit weird. Like a lot of things are in Random Pony.
Yeah.
This woman was out walking her dog and she got shot. You know, you're out walking the dog, you chat to random people who were their dogs and try to talk about, what type of dog is that, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, chatting away to this person, you know. Next minute she's sitting at home and she gets a text message.
Right.
And the text message said, thanks for letting me pet your dog. I got your number from the dog's collar.
Oh, that's...
Oh no, yeah.
That's creepy.
So your one text back and goes, hello? And your man goes, why do you have your number on her collar if you don't want people to text you?
Oh,
what the fuck? You're such a tease.
Here.
I changed the number on that fucking collar.
I'd be onto the guards about people like that. Jesus Christ.
That's fucking weird, isn't
That's weird. That is weird. That's not alright, like.
No, it's not.
Not alright.
Next time we're going to Mississippi, right?
Yeah.
Mum was fuming at teachers when they gave her son a 0 award.
A 0 award.
Yeah. Like,
In a test, like.
You know when we were in the class years ago, we used to get the dunce card, the dunce.
Yeah.
Well, this is basically an award for being one.
An award for being a dunce. Right.
To be honest with you, it's a bit fucking, I don't think it's nice, to be honest with you.
No, it's not.
You're basically you're killing the child's confidence completely, I think.
But is he a thick cunt?
Well, clearly he is. He's getting a fucking 0 award. Come here, I was a thick cunt in school, right? Sorry, that language is not very nice. I wasn't
very that thick.
I wasn't that thick, but I was a little bit silly, right?
A little bit silly.
Like, you know, if I had got the L0 award, I would have been heartbroken. Now, I might have been nominated for it.
Come on, you could take being nominated for it, but not winning it.
Joe Keenan definitely have to win that one. After what you know at that table there.
Fuck's sake.
I think it's a bit... Yeah.
No,
not at this day and age.
I get it, but then at the same time, I'm not a big fan of this, you know, what do they call it, you know, participation awards and shit like that.
Yeah, they're all a load of pony.
I think that's a load of bollocks now, to be honest. Because, right, we all know, look, not everybody is going to be the best at everything. That's fine. But I mean, you can't lie to kids.
True.
You can't say it's like, you know, here's our participation award for finishing a race 25 minutes after someone else. Like, do you know what I mean? You can't. Do you know what I mean? Not that you don't deserve it. But you know what I mean? Look, there's levels to things. Do you know what I mean?
Did you see the...
Don't be wrapping people in cotton.
Did you see the Liam Gallagher fan is selling grass of the Network gig online for the crack?
Fucking seen that.
65 grand.
For a piece of grass. Fucking hell.
Here, I think a piece of grass.
That's like a cut lump out my front garden.
So how do you know it's the same grass? You fucking wouldn't, would you?
Unless he videoed himself digging it out as proof that it's actually Network grass.
I'm thinking it's fucking.
But you know what? I tell you right, as bad and all as that is, how is there some idiot out there paying 65 grand for a piece of grass?
Well, he obviously has plenty of dough,
Too much.
And finally here, Ray, a man wants to name his son after his cat.
Wants to name his son after his cat.
Yeah.
Right, what's the cat called?
Max.
Alright. I thought you were going to say something, Mr. fucking Tiddles or something like that there. Alright, Max isn't.
Yeah, well, it'd be a bit weird, wouldn't it? Max!
Max,
You
which
call
one
it the cat.
comes to?
You call it the cat or you call it the son. It's a bit strange, isn't it?
Bit odd, but yourself, some people are like mad into their animals, So
Personally, I think that's a lot of bollocks.
I wouldn't name.
I would be mad into.
Well, here's one for you now. Actually, we go off topic for a sec. You've had to do it. I've had to do it. I tell you what, you never realise how many people you dislike, or there's things that you dislike. You only sit down and try to give a child a name. Do you do that, Lindsay? Sitting there with the list.
No, the list. We were. Tegan. Now we were pretty. We were alright with that one.
We had a list going now, and like that, be like such and such a name. And skill one day, he's a wanker. You know what I mean? Like you're going through the list, they'd see such and such a celebrity would have the same name. Like, nah, he's fucking shit. Do you know what I mean?
No, I didn't really have that, to be honest with you, Ireland. Anyway, time for tops or third, right?
Tops or third? Do you want to go or will I go?
You go. I'll let you go first.
I'll go first. I'll start you off with a film that you gave me. Hold on, I get the right one up here because this isn't going to take long, Fred. So the film is 2020's Villain, and it's on Netflix. And it stars Craig Fairbrass.
Oh, Dan Sullivan from EastEnders.
Dan Sullivan from EastEnders again.
Pat T.
So like what you call it,
Rise of the Foot
Soldier, that last piece of garbage that you made me watch. Craig Fairbrass stars Eddie Franks, who he's just released from jail, and he goes out and he's
like Rise of the Foot Soldier, isn't it?
A bit like Rise of the Foot Soldier. So he arrives, and his brother's delighted to see him, and the brother's running the pub, but they're in massive debt and all this shit, right? And so Craig Fairbrass, being the hard as nails Cockney geezer that he is, just starts off basically based the head of some Scouser lad with a fucking hammer. And
it's not bad.
Do you know what I mean? No. Do you know what, Frank? I'll be honest with you. I watched about 25 minutes of it, and the only positive I can take from it is that it's probably the best I've ever seen Craig Fairbrass in it, because he doesn't talk a lot. Do you know what I mean? But I'm gonna say, right, it has a 68% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. No, that's not right. I'll give it a 1 out of 5 purely for the scene where he based the head of two lads with a hammer is brilliant. But other than that, I couldn't. It took every Cockney gangster film cliche, whacked it all together, and hoped that something good would come out of it. And it didn't. So I'll give it a 1 out of 5. And it's just it's a bit of a turd. Second one, which also came from you, I'm going to start this off by saying the jury's out, because I've only watched one episode of it.
It gets better and better as it goes on.
As I said, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to commit.
I was the same as you.
The jury's out. So Disney Plus, lads, Pistol. It's the story of the Sex Pistols. And what I'd say is, I didn't actually know that Danny Boyle directed.
Yeah.
So that straight away for me was kind of like, that sort of piqued the interest, because I don't, look, I was never into the Sex Pistols, the music or anything like that, So, I said I watched one, and I suppose it basically centres on the start of the band. Now, I don't actually know if any of this is true.
No,
one where Steve Jones is going robbing gear out of.
It's based on his book
to set up the band.
It's based on his book, The Lonely Boy. Yeah.
So he's going robbing gear, and they're setting up the band or whatever. Now I did like we found out when they changed the name of the band first to Cutie Jones and his Sex Pistols. Yeah. I like that now. What I'd say is, I've only watched one. Just didn't get a chance to watch anymore because I had to watch Obi-Wan Kenobi as well. I mean, look, priorities, Frag.
Sure.
What I will say, as I said, the jury's out. I'm not going to give it good or a bad mark now. What I would say is we're leaning towards a good mark.
It gets better,
but I will go and watch it. And what I would say to anybody, because I wasn't sure myself, no interest in the Sex Pistols. Yeah, probably worth to watch. The first one was enough for me to say, yeah, I'll go back and I'll watch a few more. So that's that. Said
You leave it blank.
I'll leave it blank for now. I'll report back next week.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Right, Ray. I got a bit confused this week because the story, the one you gave me, the movie was a series, so I had to watch. I just watched the movie then, and I hadn't seen this movie in years, and the movie is old school. And I tell you, anyone who hasn't seen this film, I'm just gonna watch it. It's
such a good film.
Hilarious.
It's such a good film.
I'm not gonna spoil it for you. I'm just gonna give it a good mark.
That's why we
5 out of 5.
It is, isn't it?
Love it.
Frank the Tank.
Easy.
What a hero.
Stop, brilliant.
What a hero.
I hadn't watched it in a while, and I put it on. It's still brilliant. It's still brilliant. Now, Ray, the series you gave me now, I'll be honest with you, when you gave me this, I thought I couldn't get it, but I managed to find it on the What's the Rooney.
Yeah.
Now, I've only watched one, and it's like you were saying with Pistol.
Yeah.
It's enough for me to
go back to it.
Oh, yeah, I'll go back to it. I'll probably do the same thing.
You have to tell people what it is, though.
I will, of course, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it's Amazon Prime. It's called The Boys, and it's basically superheroes, but superheroes being basically dodgy bastards.
Yeah.
And basically, there's a fella in, and his girlfriend gets killed, and then
it just goes from there.
And then it just goes from there. Basically, there's this kind of FBI fella, and he's telling them that these lads are like taking the piss out of killing your missus and all that, and it stems from there. And I won't spoil it too much, but I'm definitely going to go back to it.
Very good. I started the series 3 is up on Amazon now, and I said watch the first 2 there. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
it's so
I'm gonna get stuck.
It's so over the top. Everything about it, what it is, like I have to say, I think it's very good. I'm actually glad that you like it because you normally don't take recommendations off me.
No, I'll definitely give that another whack out loud. Definitely, like you said, I'll do the same thing. Obviously, because I haven't watched enough of it.
Report back.
That would probably lean towards a good mark.
Yeah.
So
I'll let you make an informed decision. Yeah, but it is from personal point of view, I would say to the lads, definitely stick it on. It's very good. But
anyway, that's been us. That's
the Random
Pony. Got the main man, Mr. Superstar DJ, coming on now in a few minutes. Our lad.
That's it. Yeah. So coming up next, lads, I said we've an interview with Balbriggan's own globe trotting.
Yeah, he's not as good as Dick Van Dyke.
Dick Van.
Oh no, hang on. Paul Van Dyke.
Paul Van Dyke.
Who was Dick Van Dyke? Oh, he's the fucking actor.
The man with the moustache. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Murder She Wrote.
Is he Murder She Wrote?
No, what was he in?
That was he dial M for murder.
What was he in?
Loads of stuff.
Oh, what's the Murder She Wrote he was in?
Oh, that was Jessica Fletcher.
Fucking. Well, obviously.
Or not. What's her name? I can't think of her name.
I was smart.
Anyway, going up for his next is we have an interview with Balbriggan's own Paul Webster. So that's coming up next.
Cool. And we're back, and we have a very special guest in the studio tonight. None other than Mr. Superstar DJ, Mr. Paul Webster.
How's it going?
Grand Paul, how are you?
Yeah, not bad.
Evening, Ray, how are you?
I still feel weird calling you Paul.
Not many people call me Paul.
You won't call you Paul for the rest of the interview.
Prick, that's probably it. After, anyway.
Give me more questions in, and we might revert to that sort of stuff. Anyway, Webb, I'm going to call you Webb because
that's cool,
I've not been calling you Paul the last few minutes.
Cool. Not many people call me Paul.
Anyway, Webb, we are going to do the 5-star quiz. 5-star quiz it's actually me doing the quiz this week, so it's you versus Ray.
Yeah.
Get 5 questions each, mostly on Balbriggan.
Yeah.
And whoever gets the most wins.
Okay.
Pretty simple.
Cool, yeah.
So Paul, you were the guest, so we let you go first.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
This is always dead.
Now, back in the day, how many minutes did you get in the buddies playing pool?
How many minutes did I get?
Did you get when you put the 50p in?
I was normally downstairs trying to win teddies, but let me, I don't know, 4 minutes? I don't know.
4 minutes, geez, that's a quick game of pool, isn't it?
I can't remember. Gone.
I'm gone.
Right, we've no buzz up tonight, so
I think I was barred from the budgie, so I probably didn't get in much.
But the answer was 15, so
right.
I'm going to be the buzz up tonight. 15, yeah. It was 15, and then it went down to 12.
You put it up to
You knew that, didn't you,
and it
John?
went down to 12.
He knew that because he was meant to be working in Tesco. He was over there all day playing it.
Playing virtual soccer.
Playing Flash, though he was.
Playing with Mick Orange.
Collecting trance.
Right, Ray. First question for you. Name the local councillor nicknamed after a type of ice pop ice cream.
Jesus.
Ice pop.
Think about it.
Is it a councillor now?
Yeah. Ice pop
phone
ice
a
cream.
friend.
What type of ice pop ice cream
Do
do
you
you
know?
get?
Frag. I know. Do you know where he's going? Magnum PI.
Yes,
Magnum
is correct.
Tony Murphy.
Ding, 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 ding.
1-0.
1-0 to the Razor. Next question. Paul. Name this Balbriggan person. Supports Sunderland. It looks like Elvis Costello.
Jesus. I don't know. I don't know. Anyone who's followed Sunderland. Go on.
Answer is Casper Gilday.
I was going to say him, yeah. Kind of thought I'd be annoyed. David Gillette, is it?
David
Yeah, there you go. Get half a point to it.
No.
No.
Question 2 for you, Ray. 1-0.
Go on.
Name the bar roller. Here's the clue. If you were waving goodbye to a baby, what would you say? What would you do?
Day.
The day they
I get
Kenny,
that.
yeah.
You're going to disqualify you for putting in. It's 2-0 to the Razor.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Jesus, Paul, you need to get this
Bad,
next one
yeah.
right. You might get that. I think you'll get this
I
one
don't know
right.
how you come up to these questions.
Yeah.
No, neither do I. Question 3, Paul, or whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it. For fuck's sake, I'm getting mixed up. You know who you are.
Go on.
Hanlin Palace.
Where?
The Hanlin Palace, China.
No,
What was it called before that?
Palace. Do you know it? No, where's Hanlin Palace? Is that
You know,
Cross and Menaces?
Cross and Menaces used to be. What
is
was
it
it
not
called?
Genoa, no? No, or the...
No, it was the Chinese before that as well.
Okay.
Well, he's not wrong.
I don't know. I was thinking of
He's
Chippers
not
before
wrong.
it, Genoa.
Will I give him a?
I can't think what the other one. I know. I
Same
have a
people
different
know it
name.
anyway. The Hanlin Palace and the name before. Just
Yeah.
changed
Tell you
it.
what, I'll accept you now. It was Golden Emperor.
Golden Emperor, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. 2-1.
That place was getting rid of that trash down the beach. Is that there?
That was there.
Yeah. All right.
The bags out there.
Right, question 3 for you, Ray. 2-1 to you, Ray.
Right.
Ray, what was Franklin McCarthy's wife called who ran Pop In and Danny Rover?
Jesus Christ, I don't know. As the wife in The Sopranos called Carmela.
The answer is Anna.
Anna.
Yeah.
The first Italian thing that came into my head there. No.
Fair enough.
Anna.
Question 4. Paul Webb, can you name this man known as the Godfather?
The who?
The Godfather.
John O'Brien. He's my daughter's godfather, so we take that one.
Not the Godfather, the Godfather.
No, definitely not. I don't be around Balbriggan as much, so come on.
The answer is Christy Kiernan.
Christy Kane, all right.
Godfather. I think you're the only
Yeah,
person that calls
Jesus.
him
No,
that.
Grandma McConnell does as well.
Right, you, Pete.
That's who actually called him.
Go easy on me. I apologise for giving you a stick in Tesco.
Question 4, Ray, still 2-1. Who was the youngest player ever to get on the St. Malacca's football team?
The youngest player ever. This sounds like it's probably you tooting your own horn. It was you,
No,
was
it's
it?
not me.
Anthony Hennessy?
Haven't a clue.
No.
No.
Who was it?
Andy Graham.
Andy Graham,
Andy
alright.
Graham.
Yeah.
What age is he?
He was in 4 class, so about
Okay.
11, yeah.
Okay.
They're coming on 12, I think. Still 2-1. Question 5, Webb. Who was the original bass player in the band The Hours?
That I don't know either. No, I don't know.
Do you know anybody in the band? The
No,
Hours?
I don't know. Let me know.
Alright, the answer is Owie Ford.
I'll be forward, alright. You be giving me stick for that one. Still owes me about 20 quid from a couple of years ago. And Sturridge got more goals than Yacoub or something like that. He disappeared off
That's
Facebook.
not surprising.
I think he blocked me. And I'm shouting out to Owie there. Drop that 20 around to the gap.
Right, it's still 2-1, guys, to the Ray. Ray, question 5. Name this person, Balbriggan person. First name after a slang for a number 2, and the second name after a type of money.
Shite cash.
Can I just ask one? Is this guy from Bat Road as well?
He is.
Because you're from Bat Road. We've had loads of Bat Road, St. Malagas. I'm from the other end of the town. I went to St. Teresa's and we've had Day for he's Leeds. Caspar, he lives the other end of the town now.
Listen, don't be bringing the conflict into this now, okay?
Any Pinewood questions now?
Conflict. No.
Go on, give Baz a coin.
Huh?
Baz a coin.
Baz a coin.
Jesus Christ.
Coin. Money. Type of
That's
money.
good, eh?
Oh, type of money. I was thinking of type
Go
of
on, hit
shit.
me with a question.
Railraiser,
That
you're
is.
officially the winner, 2-1.
Next time. A bit more fairer questions.
Baz a
I'll have to do a bit of homework on Bat Road.
I thought the questions were quite reasonable myself.
The card fan.
Stitched up.
Are you were?
You are stitched up, yeah.
No, I'll agree.
What do you expect?
Sunderland. Who the fuck follows Sunderland?
That's what it is.
All little days. All little days. You all love them. But,
Anyway, we'll let you get in here and have a couple of words with our lovely guest here.
I don't know where to.
Don't take
know
the
where
things
to
too
start.
well. You're a bit of a fan, you know.
I'm trying being a fucking
Yeah, I suppose to start. I mean, look, Gwen was having a little read up on the old internet there today, where it said obviously, we do a bit of DJing or whatever. But to be honest with you, I said, look, that's not my area.
Yeah, that's all good, yeah.
I was actually, I was quite surprised reading through, I suppose, some of the stuff you've done and stuff like that. I suppose I think where I think probably might be the best place to start off. I was reading up. This is going back a while now.
Yeah,
I suppose we can.
I'm still only 21 though.
That's what you tell
Yeah, that's what I tell people. Yeah,
Well, right,
20 years
it's all the Botox I'm getting. So there you go.
But going back to, I suppose, it was just something that kind of caught my eye. 2006.
Yeah.
And you had a tune called "Corruption."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And
She's starting to go down well now.
Bat Road. Another Bat Road question.
No.
but
Bat
see,
Road
there's-
we're all right now.
down as Judge Jules had
Yeah.
basically picked it as his said
Tried and tested. Yeah, it was
yeah.
a feeture on his BBC Radio 1
And
show. Yeah.
Obviously put that out.
Yeah.
So I suppose, like for yourself, obviously, we're the same age, you know what I mean? So you're 21 at the time.
Could have been even.
Well, still 21.
No, actually, it would have been 2000. What was it? Yeah, about 16 years ago, 17 years ago. Yeah. So look, I grew up listening to Judge Jules. He was my idol. Look, as you know, I follow Liverpool, so Gerrard was my idol, but Jules was my music idol. So I just religiously followed him. I listened to his Radio 1 show every Saturday night. I used to just then try and get the tracks that he played, which back then was a little bit more difficult because it came out on vinyl.
Yeah.
So to get stuff on vinyl then took months to come out, where now it's a little bit more disposable, where you can make a track, release it, and it can be a little bit forgotten about these days so quick, where it can be a little bit down. It's not as, the buzz of tunes these days are not as what they used to be, a little bit, because it's a bit disheartening. You may spend a lot of time on a track and then after a week or two it's forgotten about, but back then it was a little bit more, it took months to get them, and there was hype around the track. So we listened to Jules, tried to get his tracks every week, the tracks he played and the people I liked, and the sound he championed.
Yeah.
Took ages, spent a lot of money buying vinyl. I remember a
You're
show.
a postman, you broke your postman's
I did,
heart.
from Holland and loads of places in the UK, and it was always spending all my money on getting vinyl. Obviously, my wife now, but Elaine, when at the time she was only my girlfriend, used to go down. He was going 5 to 7. He used to have to record the set. He used to sit up in our bedroom on this yoga bar, and I'd listen to Jules. I didn't care what she was doing, but I had to listen to Jules. Then I'd be in work, out to the internet cafe, try and find the track. So and then we went to Ibiza, and his night in Ibiza was the special night for us. It was called Judgment Sunday.
Yeah.
4,000 people every Sunday in Eden over the course of 16 weeks of the summer. Ibiza, obviously a special place. We went on holiday. Judgment was always the main focal point of our holiday.
Yeah.
And then that was 2004, the first time we went, and 2006 was when I got into the studio, made Corruption, gave it to Jules. He put on, tried and tested the tune of the week. And back then, if he played your track, it just spearheaded you into massive success.
Yeah.
Obviously that's gone now. He's not on Radio 1. It's changed an awful lot how to break through, but he was the one that gave me the kind of the spearhead to push me into massive boundaries and break all these boundaries. And he supported me, and for someone that was my idol, he's a really good friend now. He's over in a couple of weeks, and I'm gonna meet up with him to go to I think it's big 90s disco or something in Punchestown. It's an outdoor festival. He's playing that, so gonna meet him, gonna drive down, he's gonna come with me, go to that, and then catch up with him. So it's good, but Jules was my number one idol growing up.
And was it weird meeting your idol?
For someone that I used to stand, because it beat that, I won't keep his hair on, I could keep his hair on, right? There'll be a pre-party from, say, 10:30 to 11, and then there'll be a few different pre-parties. He played the main club in the beat that opens from 12 till 7 in the morning, so he'd play the pre-party. I'll always be there like a fanboy, have to get a picture of him, got loads of pictures. And then I go to the main club, we'd see him, and close back then was 60 euro into it, so for him to play my track and then to meet him was quite surreal, But as I said, he became a close friend. I've done some tracks with him over the years. His wife has sang on some of my tracks. And then obviously he booked me in 2009 for Judgment Sunday, so that was probably one of the bucket list things for me, to go to Ibiza, play Judgment Sunday, play that main room. I think, look, 3,500 to 4,000 every Sunday. It was just unbelievable, the kind of way.
Nothing like it.
It was just ridiculous how it was. And, I always brought a big gang of friends with me. I always looked after them quite well, drinks, whatever, into the club, VIP. Everyone had a great time. But Jules would be probably one of the main people that kind of pushed me. And look, most people know Judge Jules, He's also a music lawyer now. So he works Monday to Friday as a music lawyer. He represents some of the biggest artists in the world, like Calvin Harris, Ben Nicky, amongst others. And then at the weekend he still DJs. So he's quite a successful music lawyer, but he's still a legend to me. He's had kids and they've grown up, and he's kind of cut back on touring abroad, but he still does a lot in England and stuff like that. But Jules, obviously biggest idol, and amazing that what he done for me, and I'll be forever grateful.
Yeah, well, that's to say, because as I said, kind of reading what I was reading today, obviously that seemed to be just, as I was going through kind of bits and pieces, that was just the team.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Just kicked everything on.
It wasn't every track that kind of sent to me played, and Radio 1, as I said, back then Radio 1, the only way for people worldwide to hear these tracks was probably listen to Radio 1. And Ireland, Balbriggan especially, was a place where you could pick it up on the FM. You couldn't pick it up in loads of places in the city centre, but you could pick it up on the FM dial there. And so I used to listen to it. Sometimes fiddling with an aerial there, trying to get in position right with the basket.
You're not going to get a taxi to the Man of War.
But look at, and obviously people listened online back then on speed or dial-up internet, and obviously when he played your tracks, it just, everybody recognised who you were. So the more tracks you played, the more times, it was just opening me up to newer boundaries, and I was getting booked to play amazing places around the world. And obviously I've had help off loads of people over the years, but Jules would definitely be one of the, we name me in feature magazines as Breakthrough Artist of the Year and interviews and just numerous other things, the kind of way. And above all that, he's a down-to-earth guy where I like people, like there's a lot of people out there that have massive egos and stuff like that, but he always found time for Elaine, and that made it a bit more special, because she wasn't coming along to gigs and just being left, in the corner, no one talked. He interacted, his wife talked to her, and he made her feel welcome, kind of way.
It's always nice,
so, but now he's a good guy. I don't think he follows Arsenal, so, but there you go. He's a season ticket holder. He's a good guy.
You have to follow other teams there.
Yeah, true.
We can't be all Liverpool people.
You touched on something there now, just to say, like you said, was other people that picked up on this then from that initial thing. And again, like I said, it's not my, kind of trance music.
No.
But, names that even I know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's picked up, there was a Paul Van Dyke, Eddie Halliwell, Marco V, Tiesto.
Tiesto. Everybody knows Tiesto. Around 2008, 2009, he kind of championed all my tracks.
Yeah.
It was kind of a weird time for him, because he was changing his style, he was changing his agent, and he was going a whole different route of EDM and more commercial. So I kind of got the end of his kind of trance career. He's kind of changed his sound, but back in 2008, 2009, he was hammering on my tracks. I was meant to play in the O2 arena with him, but there was a bit of conflict. Who was playing, or wasn't playing. And I got to the day, I didn't end up supporting him. But I was still there backstage, and I still remember the night perfectly well. I think it was March, Paddy's weekend. And we went in, we were in his dressing room, there was champagne, pizzas. He played a load of my tracks in the O2. I think it was O2 then, it could have been 3 arena, I don't know. I remember halfway through his set, he was playing my track. It was a remix of Olive, You're Not Alone. It was a big, massive classic, big vocal. He wanted to smoke halfway through his set. He seen a lion smoking. They just went headed out the exit doors halfway through his set and went for a smoke back, like out on the outside. So here's my girlfriend at the time, a lion smoking with Tiesto outside. When my track is playing to like 10,000 people. A little bit mad, but it was crazy. I played him in Privilege in Ibiza that summer. A bit in Privilege was the club where Manumission was. I don't know if you watch a beat on cover, there was a club called Manumission where I don't know what I can say this, but
that's the one Kevin Perry went in.
No, Kevin Perry's no, we'll touch on that in a minute. But Privilege was Manumission was in Privilege, and Manumission was a kind of team night where it was based around not the music but more so the theatre kind of acts, and ironically the couple that ran it had a live sex show on stage. So halfway through the night they had sex. And they're called Mike and Claire, and they became world famous. So it's the biggest club in the world. It had a swimming pool in the middle of the club.
Was that planned? Like,
that was planned. That was the whole thing.
People know what was going to happen, or?
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Yeah, Mike and Claire, they became, that was it. There was
the first night though. Say the first night. Did they tell anybody?
Maybe. I don't know. He just
rocked out the first night.
Let's go. Fuck it. Feeling it. Let's go on stage and whack it out of it. But so that was Privilege. That's what Tiesto used to have his Monday night shows. And I played in I can't remember what year it was, but I played with him after. I think he was meant to play for 5 hours, and he was jet lagged to bits from playing a tour in Russia for 4 days solid. So when he got there, he wanted to come off the decks at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, and he didn't even play all his own big tunes, and I got to play them. But I say hands down, it was probably the most nervous I've ever been. It was a massive stage, and it was up on a big scaffolding. You had to go miles up in the sky. There was no toilets near it, and I go for a few pisses if I get nervous. And that night it was like Jesus, it was miles away. So it was. But as soon as I got on stage, the nerves just went. He had a Jägermeister machine where that was his kind of. He had shots before when he was playing, and it was shot the Jägermeister at -5 or -6. So you don't even feel it going down your throat. But we had to have a shot. Then he headed off, and I played all his classics. It was a good night, so it was. Yeah, that was one of the special nights.
That'd be surreal.
Lost contact with him. He used to follow me on Twitter, but then he got a new agent, and that just got. I done a remix for him off his album Kaleidoscope of a track called "Feel It in His Bones," "Feel It in My Bones." I think around 2008, 2009, sometime I can't remember. It's a bit of a blur, but yeah, it was a big track for me as well. He wanted this kind of sound that I was making at the time, and he wanted a remix done that style, and I done it. But unfortunately, he used to have this big CD series called "In Search of Sunrise," and he stopped doing it the year he started playing my tune. So unfortunately, I missed the boat with that one. And, but look, good times, if I catch up with him somewhere along the line,
Do you know what, like saying that, I suppose, like having to step in for some, like such a big name. As I said again, me not knowing this.
I think it was the most people I ever had on the guest list.
I
think I had about 40 people shacking up to a nightclub in Ibiza with 40 people. And who's with you? There's a bus load there, and there was loads of people in this little VIP area at the top. It was a bit crazy, but there you go. That's why I probably never got asked back again. Too many people. I think it was about 70 quid in, and 40, they probably lost a few quid on me, so there you go.
That's focus.
Yeah, sure.
That's typical Balbriggan, that is.
Everybody latched on,
You can bring 5 people in with you. Well, there's
40.
There's 40
Get more if you want.
Go on, stick in there.
Sounds like, though, from, wonderful experiences.
Yeah, look, amazing experience. And people have this perception, maybe ego, wanker, all this kind of thing. I'm just an ordinary bloke. Live the dream. Still live the dream occasionally, but I've kind of, I wouldn't say retired, but kind of over the years I've kind of just winded it down. I have a full-time job on a dental nurse. You probably don't know that.
I do.
I'm there 10 years. I'm there since 2012, but still do occasional gigs and still have. I probably enjoy them more now. There's more probably pressure when it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I enjoy them more now. Just pick and choose a few gigs every year, and then kind of dabble in, dabble out, make a few tracks. Just have a bit of a buzz.
That's the thing. You're still at it. Like you still.
It's one of those things. Yeah, no, I still love. still love going on the decks. It's just that buzz of playing tunes to a crowd. It's just dead. I don't care. Like, I'm a trance DJ, but I do play different styles of music if I need to. Like, you have to accommodate who you're playing before. We touched on Kevin and Perry. So Kevin and Perry was filmed. It was actually a 20-year anniversary during COVID, but he had the event 2 days ago in Amnesia. So Amnesia was where Kevin and Perry was. So that's where Cream was, and Cream was a Liverpool night, and that was in Amnesia every Thursday. So 2014, 15, 16 and 17 I played Cream and Amnesia, and that was, that was another magical experience. Now it's just it's on the outskirts of San Antonio, kind of halfway between the airport. You drive up, it's this big mammoth of a club, and then you go in, it just has the ice cannons. It was special. I played with Oakenfold, Paul van Dijk and Eric Prydz and stuff like that. I think Fatboy Slim was there one of the nights, but I played hidden. No, I've probably as a fanboy years ago in Bar M before one of the shows, but different style. So now he wouldn't.
See, I look at Norman Cook and I just see the house man.
It's the fucking bass player and the house man.
Norman Cook's a legend, he really is, and what he's been through, and his from the drink, and I don't know too much about it, I have read into it a bit. He's a legend, and he's still a superstar. He still packs out most places around the world. But going back to Amnesia was where I've kind of played most of the big clubs in Ibiza. So to be able to look back and say, "Sure, I played all them clubs." They're not, the big clubs. It's not big lineups, and it's kind of a bucket list. People, to get on them lineups, it's not easy, but once you get on it, it's brilliant.
Like to go from.
Getting thrown out of Roscoe's class to playing in Amnesia.
Just like that's it. Kicking around the home.
And look and we can touch on the home.
And then it's like, no, not being dead home. You're just at home myself, starting off and saying, right, I'm doing a bit of this and I'm enjoying doing it, and then
look, that's it, and it's a bit of adjusting. It's like from playing in your bedroom, understandable, is a total different experience than going in. It's adjusting. It can be. How would you say, you're travelling to gigs and it might take 10 hours to get to some of the countries, and then you're getting off a plane and you're going straight to a venue where you're bollocks tired and you have to perform because all these people are there to see, so it's a different way of looking at it. But I love every minute of it. I loved all the big shows. I still get occasionally big ones, and had a great time,
But you still doing much gigging now? What you just?
I'm playing at a festival in Holland in 2 weeks called Luminosity Beach Festival. I think I played their second birthday in 2008, and I'm back in 2 weeks' time in Zandvoort. It's a big festival. There's a couple of Irish people on it, and big festival and closing on the Sunday. So it should be good. I'm doing Prague later on in the summer, and I'm doing Belfast. But not as much, Just it's a hobby. It's a good hobby. I'm just on a family guy, and
that's it. But you get old.
3 kids. I'm married. I just don't have the time, and that's not a nag. You've got kids.
I know you feel.
Today is my day off. It's Thursday. Whoever's listening, I don't know what day this podcast goes out, but it's Thursday. Thursday is my day off, and today is my fucking craziest day of the week. It's just crazy from going from everywhere. I've been in Crumlin today, I've been in Swords, I've been in Dublin City Centre, I've been in the gym, I've been in my ma's house about 5 times, I've been back in my own house about 10 times. It's just been a bit crazy. So Elaine gets home at about 7:30, so hand her back the kids and have a rest. But look, I can't complain. It's brought me some amazing places over the years, some cool places, some shit places, some dodgy places. I've been in some mad things like car crashes in Poland on the way to gigs, missed flights, Mexico, dodgy police in Mexico, all mad stuff, corrupt, but it's some great places, like 15,000 people in Mexico, just in, I wouldn't say it's the jungle, but it's in the middle of nowhere in this bit, ridiculous it was 50, I think it was 15,000 people then. The State of Trance was a big festival in Holland where Armin van Buuren, he's the biggest trance DJ in the world. He has a show called The State of Trance, and he celebrates every year, every episode. So he's at 1,000 episodes now because of COVID. It's been a bit messed up. Sorry for cursing on air, but
you can curse.
It's okay.
I played the State of Trance in 2014. So that's another bucket list of 35,000 people in an indoor arena in Yarborough in Utrecht. That was special. That was really.
Because I'm looking to play the Central now in a couple of months.
It's weird. It's weird. I can get up in front of DJ in front of thousands, and then stick me in the room
I get that.
Anyway,
I totally get what you're saying there. Yeah.
I can't go in there, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so I'd rather go to a party and go up there and get me food. I'm not going up in front of everybody. Hang on, you were DJing to loads of people last night.
It's a different.
Yeah,
it's sometimes intimate. When you say intimate, it can be more daunting than having all the people there, because when you've got like that amount of people there, you're in the zone.
You're in the zone. You're in the zone. Yeah.
Where like if it's watching me there.
I'd have a few drinks before I play, and depending on
take the edge off.
Nah, 100%. Like you'd have your own little DJ ride, and you'd have vodka, and sometimes you can get out of hand. You know, you can wake up the next morning and say, "Fuck, what did I even play last night? Where's my USB sticks? Where's my headphones?" And then sometimes, Jesus Christ, don't even look at Facebook or anything like that in case someone says something bad about you. But
Paul Webster has a mare.
Yeah, that has probably happened a few times, and it could happen again a few times, but you have to be professional, because you know you deal with people that come, they're paying tickets, and they're there to see you, so you can't really. But sometimes, you know, it is good to have a few drinks, and just kind of does make you relax a little bit.
It does.
You get in the zone.
You said something there, and I'll ask you a question. Just you saying about worst place you've ever played. Just you said there's been a few shitholes.
Do you know what? I'd say
you
Dundalk. I'm probably going to get burned out from people from Dundalk now, but say Dundalk. I remember it well. It was Paddy's Eve 2008. Elaine's granddad died that night, which was crazy.
Jeez.
I remember being in the Jacks. It was me, Judge Dowles, and someone else playing. I don't know who it was, but I remember being in the Jacks and looking either side of the line and thinking, am I getting out here fucking live? We couldn't get a taxi out of there. Nobody would bring us home because we were from Balbriggan.
Yeah.
We had to leave early. I think a police car got burnt out. It was fucking chaos. It was some hotel at the back of Dundalk, so like one of the roughest places I've been. And look, most places you go, I have been in places before where I was in Poland before. The Mafia turn up. They're playing now. Okay, that's bad. They don't care. I'm going. They just turn up.
Yeah.
And they're playing. They don't care who you are, what you're doing. We're on the decks now. Get the fuck. No problem. Obviously, some places in Mexico are a bit dodgy. Belarus. Been in Russia over the years. Look, most places are pretty cool.
I love that you're talking about these places.
Most places are cool.
People think of like gangsters and Russia, whatever. Where's the worst place played? Dundalk.
Dundalk is a good place. I went to college up there for a few years. I probably mitched most of the time. I didn't really like it, but
taking it all back.
Probably just thinking back that night, it was just a bit kind of what the fuck is going on. Like if you go to some place in Poland, as I said, I've mentioned Poland. I've had great times in Poland over the years, but can be a little bit dodgy, as in they drive a bit fucking bonkers. 300 miles per everything, and I'm not even going to get to the club. I said, we were in a crash before. Some lad couldn't see out the window, and his fan was broke, so the thing wouldn't come down. He just crashed into a ditch, and he's like, oh my god, so we just left him. It was me and Brian Carney. He's a superstar. He lives in Balbriggan. We just left him.
He was across the road from me.
Oh, there you go. So we left him, and it was years.
Around the corner.
I had new night runners, and they were pure white. I was more freaked. I was in a ditch, and they were going to get full of We left him, man. Really, if you had been on the motorway, and he couldn't see out the windscreen, we were brown bread. Yeah. So, but even at that, we just the Mafia turned up. I think we got this. That was a different night. We were playing, and they didn't like the sound of the music we were playing, so they said, "No, get the fuck off." So there's mad kind of stuff. So I've been in a few dodgy situations. A beat to the police chase us. There's too many people in the car. Stuff like that, you know. I think it was a Mini, and there was about 7 of us in it. I don't know how we fit in the Mini. They were chasing us around a beta. But yeah, look at the Dundalk, probably the dodgiest place I've played.
So I wasn't expecting that.
Apologies to Dundalk.
Other odd places you name checked. That's mental. Dundalk, you're fucking shit.
I wouldn't say shit, it was just fucking dodgy.
No.
It was dodgy.
A few questions here, eh?
I can't ramble on.
Come here, don't worry about that. A question here from Raoul Kane.
Tiesto CD.
Yeah, but that's fair enough. I didn't see that, so you can tell me the story.
What is
He used to, look, you know, back then I lived in Fancard, he lived in Hampton Cove. They would have went to a club called, I think, the Rossnaree, but it was Europa. I was only probably 14 or 15 at the time. Tiesto was big, he had the CD out, and Row had it, and he used to get lent of it off him. But I don't think I ever gave it back, so we bought it again, and then I got a lent of it off him again. I used to lose it. Then he'd buy it again, I'd give Len that CD, and I'd get it, and I wouldn't give it back to him again. And you know, it's a great CD, it's probably the best CD of all
When I
time.
seen that question, I said, you know what, I've got a question for Web now, actually.
Yeah, go for
I don't know if he knows where this one was
Go on.
I probably shouldn't say this on air,
go
but
for
I'm
it.
going to say it
Yeah,
anyway.
go for it. I can take that and go on.
Where's my fucking Enrique Iglesias CD?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I am. Is that yours?
Yeah.
Who said that? Because I would. Enrique Iglesias, good tune, yeah.
Hang on now.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me just clarify.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I had this CD.
Why? Yeah, why have you got it?
I'll tell you why I have it, right?
That was their song.
I think that was
their CD
Deb's.
for the ladies.
No,
was
hang
it?
on a minute now, right? I was myself and the Dinmore Thompson were over in Belgium in 2002, right?
Yeah.
And we walked into this CD shop, right? And this song came on the radio.
Yeah.
And I turned around and said to him, that's fucking our song, man. And we started going, oh, I can't believe they could hear us over in Belgium. And next minute, I see this Latin crooner coming on the telly. Hang on a minute, that's not our song, our lad. we wrote a song a couple of years before.
Rip job.
It's the exact same riff. So I bought the CD out of protest, and anybody used to come for a session in the acid house, I used to always say, this is a robbing bastard. So we're having the lane, we're actually at a party in my gaff one night, and I was upstairs with the guitar, comparing the riffs. I gave him, he goes, just lend that CD out, lad, will you?
I'd like a bit of take that. I'd like a few things. I don't just like dance music, you know?
I don't like Enrique Iglesias.
Alright, I do. So there you go. I think it's a rip job.
This isn't bad though. I'm going to get a date for
Corner
that.
Cow. What's her name?
Anna Corner Cow.
Yeah, there you go.
Still married to
Where is it?
That's Row Kiernan. Get in the queue.
Fuck's sake.
I know Enrique Iglesias. Didn't think that would come, did
There you go.
Enrique.
At least an honest down up. I do like the not all of his tracks. Take that and go then.
I always think, when I think of Enrique Iglesias, remember that? Remember Bo
You
Skepta?
can be a hero, but you can't escape the magic.
Escape, that's the album, Escape. And Escape's its track off. It's a good track, it's catchy.
It's actually a good acoustic version on it.
It's yours, eh? You ripped him off.
You didn't got it, bastard.
But, let's say go, you know, stolen CDs aside,
I'm not a thief.
well,
Borrowed
CDs.
I didn't know where he lived, so I just
CDs.
can't. Probably still be mad somewhere.
But it's like going from shitholes to Dock. Obviously, what's been so far? As I said, you're still you're picking and choosing what you're doing. But as of now, what's been
the best thing I've
number
done?
one?
Look, Ibiza probably holds the best place with all the gigs in Ibiza. Played first time in Judgment Sunday. Tiesto's up there, or Cream and Amnesia, but probably Judgment for what it meant, because we used to go there as a clubber, and then 5-6 years later and headlining with Gerald. On the night it was me, Judge Gerald, Simon Patterson, who was one of my best friends at the time, and Lisa Lashes. I'm sure everyone knows Lisa Lashes.
Yeah.
So at that night, it was a special night, 19th of July. It was that was a magical night. So it was. And
Saying the ice age ended.
oh, there you go.
Oh, Jesus,
There you go.
Marathon becomes Snickers.
Look, there's been loads of good things, you know, over the years. Australia, there's been loads of special ones. We'll beat it probably because it's a party destination. I know we came in for a bit of bad criticism. Everyone has this Ibiza's and that. Do you know what? It's actually not a bad place. It's probably one of the nicest places in the world, nicest beaches, nicest restaurants, sunsets. But Ibiza Uncovered gave it a bad name where it focused on the one area for the whole summer. Like it's focused on Bat Road for the whole summer. No joking, I'm definitely getting bored for Dundalk and Bat Road. I'm up there. No joking, it's like just focusing on Temple Bar for the whole summer, and it's just going to capture the worst bits: people drunk, people getting sick, people doing mad stuff. But you know, it is a magical place, and it's a place where you could see it from the DJ box where people didn't give a fuck where they were. They were letting all their worries go because they were on holiday, and they were having the best time of their life. They didn't care if they owed money on bills or what was going on back home. They were there having the best time of their life during that time, and it was probably the best atmosphere. You know, it was just wild.
And I suppose for yourself, to be able to just
Amazing,
stand there and look out at it and say,
it was great. It was a great time.
You sort of think to yourself, and you're like, I'm
but look, there's been
doing
loads of
that for these lads.
There's been loads of good things, you know, over the years. You know, even you mentioned home. I mean, I've had some good nights in Balbriggan over the years. One 6 out was 2012. The place was wedged by 11:30, 12 o'clock, sold out. I think 1,200 people, or 1,400, I don't know what it was. It was O'Shea's and
some queue for the fucking bar there.
It was absolutely. It was the 29th of December, and it was just and it was probably the best night I played there because loads of older people were there.
Yeah.
The likes of the 40-year-olds like Fraggle and all that. There was loads of Balbriggan people there. They were a lot older. That went clubbing back. Like well before me, and it was brilliant. It was a great night, and I had good times with Jason. He used to run home, and obviously they went into receivership. I think whatever happened in 2014, and it just never recovered. And obviously it's knocked down now, but I had some good nights there. You know, the DJ boxes are shithole. They never had monitors, and they had shit then on deck. So any club shop pioneer deck. So that was the way I was. They used to have to hire. You could never hear what you're doing because they didn't have monitors. So the focus, it's a club, but the focus should be built around the DJ box. And once the DJ box is the main focal point, you know, it's people have a good time. I think at one stage the DJ box in the corner, and you couldn't even fucking see him. So the DJ box should have been built a little bit better.
They moved it into the middle for Jeremy Dixon, didn't they?
Possibly. I'm good friends with Jeremy, actually. I give him a lot of sticks on here, but he's a good friend. I'm good friends with Jeremy. He plays cheese, but that's his style.
Oh, he's great on Twitter.
He's good. He's brilliant.
Question from your good friend Manor, John O'Brien.
Go on.
Said he wanted to ask about the first live stream you done during lockdown.
I knew this was going to come up. He couldn't sniff it. Tell me about that. But yeah, look, during lockdown, people want nothing to do, and have loads of artists start doing DJs started doing live streams. So kind of took a bit of time getting all the stuff together. I got the wrong stuff from Toman and stuff, but finally got it together. Done it for me gaff. It turned into like I started at 5 o'clock. It was good. It was live on YouTube or live on Facebook, but I ended up going for about 1 or 2 in the morning. And I know he's put my dad was on till late saying, "Tell it, I was hammered. We were drinking. It was on for about 8 or 9 hours. I couldn't even see.
I think I was actually watching. Do you know what?
He could have been watching.
I was actually watching it and bopping away to it.
Like the kids were still up. Take me dad, and my ma was texting. I said, "Tell him to turn it off. He's hammered. His neighbours will be giving out." And I hope I was turning it off. It was brilliant. Great times. But you know, I done them, and then I'm good friends with the owners of Platinum Gym, the owned by Growski, and I used to go up and record stuff during lockdown up there. And it was cool. We had all the lights, and man, used to come up with me on every Friday night, and we'd record, and then we'd put it out. So yeah, it was cool. It was just something to keep people interested, you know, and playing tunes and just going live. It was a bit of a banter, but the first one was a bit of it kind of started off good, and it was even looking at the setup we had. Hadn't got a tripod holder. I think I had something mask and tape holding something else and something.
Yeah, I've been there.
It was a fucking nightmare. So the camera was upside down.
Once it works, it doesn't fucking matter.
But he got a buzz. Man, I got a buzz out because I think my dad tell him to turn it off and call the guards on. Jesus Christ! Cheers, that.
I'm calling the guards on. That's a good one.
So I got a bit of stick off for that. Look, we get a bit of stick on the time. You know? As I said, we go back to it. I'm just an ordinary bloke, lived the dream, had fun. People might, that lad's a prick. You know something? I'd go past him by Balbriggan, I wear glasses. I'm fucking half blind. So if I'm going down the street, I'm wearing them. And I'm
never go past me, bollocks.
No, look at it. Someone's driving past me and waves. I don't fucking see them. That lad's an ignorant cunt. I hate that. I haven't seen it. I wouldn't wear my glasses in the club. I can't wear, what's it called? What them?
Contacts.
I can't wear contacts. So yeah, I'd rather just go into a club and look blind. I just that the images of good wearing glasses. It's not an ego, but yeah. So look at it. Good times over the years. Great times. Great memories. It's all good. I'm just a Balbriggan bloke having a bit of fun.
Yeah. Speaking of Balbriggan, I said obviously you were saying the lockdowns and the COVID and all that shit. Now the Sunfest was back last week.
Yeah.
What was it? I mean,
it's something.
What was that?
I used to do it for years.
Completely different.
Yeah, I used to do it for years. Well, not years. I don't know, 2013, 14 and 15. And then I said, you know what? Now this, I just couldn't be arsed doing, you know. It's just not my style of music I play. But then this year I kind of said, you know what? I wouldn't mind doing it. Just let the kids see me play and they have a buzz. And it was just for them really. But it was really good. It was deadly. So it was last week. Yeah. They had my kids up on stage. Daniel, he was dancing along, giving United fans abuse. I'm joking. But yeah, that was good, and it was really, you know, you could see people enjoy themselves because People were drinking in the car park, having a great time. And there was younger people there, 16, 17, loving it.
Yeah.
And it was a brilliant crowd. It was a great night. The weather made it as well.
Yeah.
It was such a sunny, but yeah, it was really good. So they've already asked me back next year to do it, and I will. You know, it was just a family thing.
That's it. As you said, like you were saying, even earlier, I suppose, in that obviously going back early days, not married, no kids, nothing like that. And it's, I suppose you're probably your mindset's probably changed now, and that you're like, we don't enjoy, like you said, because your own kids come along.
And I told the only reason I wanted to do it was for the kids, and they enjoyed it. And as I said, that's it. Back in the day, Elaine used to come over with me. Then we had Emma, and then she couldn't go most places. And it can be a bit of a lonely time going to the airport. And this isn't a cry, feel sorry for me, I'll get the foot in it, but go to airport, sitting around, go to plane, sitting around, get to hotel, sitting around, go to the club, play, perfect, then you go back and you've time, if you're buzzing, but then you're on your own. And a lot of these play, go out and visit all these attractions, you're in deadly cities, but on your own, it's quite boring, do you know? So it was better just to fly in, play and get the fuck out of there, you know? Look, I looked back, I went to New York on a Friday afternoon, played Friday night, just flew back home Saturday morning. You know, people think New York, you go to Australia, people think Australia, okay, you go for a month, 2 months. Just went on a Wednesday, come home on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Australia, you know, people think.
Because you went to Australia by yourself, just.
Nah, Elaine came.
That's
I haven't been in Australia in a good few years, and I've had offers, but I just couldn't be asked going. I'm just lazy as well.
It's a long spin for a
lazy. If someone can come to me, perfect, I'll go, but I want to have a bit of fun, and I like having banter, as you know. You get bored talking to yourself after a while, you know? Especially after you do 5 kilometres in Dublin Airport, going down to the gate. You know,
talking to myself.
So it's better when someone comes to me. So Elaine's coming to me to Luminosity, and she's coming to Prague with me, and we'll have a bit of fun, you know, the kind of way, nice food. Look, I like eating nice food, I like drinking, and people stag me on it. I'm not a diva, I just like eating, staying in nice hotels, having nice food, having a buzz, you know, hopefully slagging the United fans somewhere along the way. I'm only joking, look, I can't talk. I lived a tough life growing up. Liverpool were fucking shit. You know, I was in the class with people that just followed United, people that jumped on the fucking bandwagon. You know, they were driving past and every cunt got on it. John Clark, everybody. What's his name? Gavin Sherwin. You know, then United lose. They lost someday to someone. It was a Southampton. They had their jerseys on. He gave him stick the money. He's gone home in a hub, so he's couldn't have one defeat in about 60 years back then.
We were spoiled growing up.
You know, spoiled. Have a bit of fun now, Liverpool.
The shoes on the other foot now.
That's just the way it goes. Football.
That's it, football, a bit of fun, a bit of banter. You know, we talked about it. We've been on Liverpool TV a couple of times. That was pretty cool as well, you know, to be invited over to Liverpool, go on their TV station. They used to have a show called the Thursday Night Show, where it was all like old kind of stuff and all memorabilia, and then they'd have a music act on, and they'd have other players, and they'd have like Phil Thompson was on one time, and I was on with a couple of other players over the years as well, and then a couple of BT Sports House and that. So it was cool going into the studio, going into Liverpool's kind of offices and doing TV. It was pretty cool, you know.
Your other
pretty cool, you know. Even though you had to wear makeup, that was the only thing. Because it goes out as HD, you have to go in and get makeup on and take the makeup up. So but that was quite cool. I've done that 2 years in a row. That was cool, and obviously Liverpool was our passion, so to be kind of involved in the club and kind of have a little bit of now some people in the club has been cool over there.
I wanted to ask you, Arla,
go on.
Have you ever been mistaken for snooker champion John Higgins?
I know, it could be, I don't know, I don't think John Higgins is.
Arla, if you put a waistcoat and a key on
a good looking cunt,
you can sign autographs. You can sign autographs inside the crucible.
Sure, I didn't know how long you had to play pool for in the budgie, so I definitely wouldn't be playing snooker. I'll take that, there you go. I've been called worse. I've been called fucking worse.
Another question here from Owen Richardson. He wants to know, are you still rocking the same shorts in September?
Owen Richardson? Who the fuck is Owen Richardson? How's it going now? Anyway, what's your...
he's from Pinewood. There you go.
Owen Richardson. Pinewood is sure now he wasn't in
my...
Which shorts are they? Maybe the gym shorts. Yeah, I've got I kind of like the same shorts, so I'd probably have 3 or 4 of the same pair. I don't know.
That.
Shorts? That's a random one.
I do the same.
You get some random questions.
I have 4 pairs of the same shorts at home.
I'll post a few pictures over the weekend of different shorts. Shout out to Owen. I'll even give you them if you want them.
Sign
them for you. I won't watch them now. Yeah, John Higgins, there you go. Meet you at Bart Road.
Johnny. So the real people are from.
There you go. That's a random one.
That's
There we
what
go.
you get on this,
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
What's the Story over here, I don't mean.
That's it. But, well, what's next then?
What's next? I don't know. I haven't chilled out for a while, but yeah, look, I've been in the studio a little bit, making a few different tracks at the moment. Yeah, just having a bit of fun, play a few gigs, go into hibernation for the winter, and come back out in the summer.
That's it. You're fair with a DJ now,
right? Yeah, look, I like the sun. I don't have the colour for the sun, and it's like the Milky Bar kid. But now I'm just boring and pale and boring. But,
like me.
Factor 50, but yeah, just same thing. Go to work Monday to Friday, go to gym, have fun, go on holidays with the kids. But yeah, there'll always be gigs, and I'll always get gigs over the years for not like a legacy I've had or whatever, but it's just kind of from what I've done over the years. I still always get occasional offers. Not as look, it's like that. If you don't put much in, you don't get much. If Fraggle doesn't keep delivering post, if he stops delivering posts, you're still a post one, aren't you? Yeah, you know, if he doesn't show up to work every Monday, every Tuesday, after a while they're going to get pissed off and not want to get sacked. Or like a band, if I don't know, Coldplay or something.
Balbriggan will fall if I ever go sick.
If someone like Coldplay didn't release tracks for like 10 or 12 years,
great.
No, but the people are Enrique Iglesias. The people coming through don't know who they are because they don't know the newer tracks. So the younger generation, because they're not releasing more tracks, so they're being a realist, they don't know who you are. So unless you stay on top of the game and constant release tracks, get constant airplay, people will forget about you. The older people will still know who you are, but the younger people won't. That is.
Because everything moves so quick now
exactly.
with social
and
media.
Because things are so disposable, you can make a track, you release it about 3 or 4 months maybe later, and it's forgotten about. So you need to constantly release tracks upon, but not just any tracks. They need to be out of the box tracks for that massive tracks.
We need to release a new single soon, right?
But that's what it is. I am a realist, you know. People would say, oh, he's a failed DJ. No, look, I've by choice wanted a different career, and I'm happy enough to dabble in and dabble out when I want to, you know, kind of way. That's just the way it is.
I wouldn't mind going to all the places you were in.
No, look, I can look back and I can say some cool places. I've got some cool artwork from in my gaff of different things and different canvases of massive crowds in front of me. It's cool, and still, like, sometimes on a Friday you think, fuck's sake, I'm going to the chippers here for a takeaway. I should be going to the airport and getting a pint and going to a club, but you know, it is what it is.
You change as you get older.
Yeah,
that's
it. You know, kind of not gone a bit more private these days. I've had loads of followers on Instagram. And I said, fuck this, I'm gonna keep everyone private. I don't want everyone knowing about me these days. So Instagram will cut back down.
Should know about you after this interview.
Of course. Well, I had like 12,000. That's not massive, but I kind of just cut it back. I went private, cut on my followers, got about 600 now. The Twitter is still there. I kind of use that for football. Just saying no, honestly, football to see it's good for transfer news and see what's coming up.
Yeah,
Facebook.
United aren't signing anyone.
No, I'm just a few people. And Facebook, I've just got a private Facebook page, and that's it. You know, I've got post pictures of my kids, and I don't want some random person in Mexico or India looking at my kids. I'm giving it a love heart. It's a bit weird, you know. So that's what it is. I'm not retired. I'm still around, but I'll still play a few gigs and just pick.
You at your own place in your own.
That's what I want to do. You know, and that doesn't necessarily mean I'll get booked, because as I said, if you don't put it in, you won't get it back. But I still put a little bit in, you know, the kind of way. Yeah. But still do enough to get booked for certain things, you know. And I'd say 2 weeks time in when I'll would be really good. I'll focus on that. I'm making a few new tracks for that. And make it a bit special, and so it would be good. It's on a beach outside Amsterdam. Yeah. It's just a magical festival. Loads of Irish there, and it hasn't been on since 2019, so it's going to be even more special this year. It's going to be just. And I said I've got the closing set on the Sunday. There's 4 stages, and closing one stage 9:30 till or 11 or something like that. So that'll be quite cool. And then Prague, I'm doing a 5-hour set in Prague, so that'll be cool. I like all them. Before lockdown, I played in Prague, and it was probably one of my favourite gigs. It was brilliant. They're a different type of crowd. They don't get drunk. They're a bit more. They just stand there and watch it and throw a few shapes. But they're very passionate. That's it. They don't do much. But Irish go crazy. Like, you know, they're drinking loads of vodka. The bar is getting emptied and they're going bananas. Ireland, Glasgow, or Scotland. Them crowds are wild. But them kind of European crowds are deadly. Where they're very passionate about. They might turn up to the airport to get pictures with you and stuff like that. They might have banners and flags when you arrive.
It's very much the music, though, isn't it?
It's just brilliant. So you can take them on a journey, and you can play a bit more. Sometimes we go to gigs where And it's not even anthem bashing. You need to. People are there to see. You've only got one area. You have to play all your biggest tunes and some other biggest tunes. Where 5 hours, I love playing them longer sets. You can kind of play a bit of slower stuff, techno, tech house, build it up, and then play some classics at the end. And can't wait for that. And Belfast is a really good place in the world at the moment. It's mad because the Irish clubbing scene is fucked. The Southern Ireland is dead. Yeah. There is some stuff like Belters Only and some like Life Festival, they do well, Camelback, stuff, all that kind of stuff does well, but it is still a struggle. And now after COVID, everywhere has struggled and prices have gone up, drinks, everything's gone up. But yeah, it's weird. Like you might put a gig on with, I don't know, say Ben Nicky in Dublin, you might get, I don't know, 600, 800 people. That's a good night. Belfast, 15,000 people. You know? It's only an hour and a half.
Where's that in Belfast?
A Belsonic Festival.
Where's that on in the Custom Square, is it?
Well, somewhere around there, yeah.
Good place, that.
Anywhere you go in Belfast, it's weird. It's probably the capital of dance music in the world at the moment. It's so many different nights on at the weekend and they all do brilliant. But it's because and this is it, the kids are just doing, the kids go, they don't necessarily know who the DJs are, but they're going there for a night out and they're leaving knowing who the DJ, and that's very crucial because then they're going home thinking that guy was great, I listen to him on SoundCloud, and then they go to the next gig. And that it's a really key kind of part of your career now. If you want to be big, you need to be smashing places like Belfast and stuff like that, you know. So Belfast is a quite great place to play, and it's only a short spin up the road, so it's cool.
That's the thing. So remember when you were saying that was at the Custom Square. I was living up there.
Okay.
And he was living in an apartment that was looking right over there. Who was the one he sent me the video of? Tom Jones.
Okay.
Tom Jones.
Look at Tom Jones,
it was weird looking at us. He's just looking out the sitting room window. Tom Jones absolutely smashing it down there.
But I said he put on. But even, there's not many festivals down. I know Electric Picnic's on down there, but you know, and people can skip back a good couple of years. And what happened here was, right, at the time of Witness and what was it called then? Oxygen. At the time then, and no disrespect to bands and stuff, but at the time then, DJs were the rock stars at the time. Like people like Calvin Harris, Swedish House Mafia and stuff like that. And look, there's bad trouble at all these gigs. There's people are taking drugs, people fighting and stuff like that. But they used to always make an example out of dance music. Yeah. What happened was then, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, and someone sent me a message if I think I'm wrong. They'd done a couple of shows in Phoenix Park. Yeah. Swedish House Mafia, Calvin Harris, Example, loads of other people, Tiny Temple, stuff like that, and there was loads of trouble. Yeah. And it was MCD, the promoter, washed their hands because they got a lot of bad press. And at the time, they were the biggest acts, so they cut all them big festivals. Kids wanted to go and see Swedish House Mafia, Tiesto, all them kind of big things, and there hasn't been an auction, hasn't? No, because of that at the time. Because when you look back to probably the last couple of auctions, some of the headliners were David Guetta, Swedish House Mafia, Deadmau5. And then they put them on their own. They had loads of trouble. They got bad press and that. But there's drugs everywhere. I'm not against drugs, don't take them. There's drugs everywhere. But dance music always got drugs. And there's drugs everywhere. True. And whatever people want to do, that's cool. If people get drunk, it's fights.
I've been to see rock gigs. Lads are out on Marathon.
That's it. You know, well, there's always been a bad example around dance music. I remember even playing here before. We brought Judge Dales over to Balbriggan, and this is a funny one. I remember someone in Balbriggan posted a tweet out about yokes. Yeah. The person running the owner got freaked. He put a clamp on. He didn't let many people in that night. Yeah. So it wasn't even a great night because someone posted on Facebook he was bringing yokes tonight or something like that, and that scared the shit out of him. So it did. Yeah. And once he broke even, no one else was getting in. It was a shit night. It was a shit night.
That's pretty much it nowadays, right now.
Sorry for waffling on.
Not at all.
Any predictions for next year, yeah? You know, either come 5th, 6th?
I'd be happy with that.
A lot of United fans have now gone back to following Celtic now. No? Not you? No? No? That's alright. Well, yeah, look, cheers having me on. It's been good. Sorry for waffling a little bit, but yeah, it's been good, yeah.
Do you know, as I said, like I was saying to you, do you know what I mean? Like, new bits and whatever, but actually going and reading about it and then actually just sitting here and talking to you.
Yeah, look, that's it.
Mad story, like you said, you know, you live the dream or
let's play something new. Look, it can be a bit kick back down to earth. Women, you're playing all these massive clubs.
Yeah, back at work,
like assisting a dentist taking out teeth and stuff like that. It's a bit mad, but it is what it is. You know, I'll go and play luminosity on the Sunday, and then 2 days later I'll be back at work. It just is what it is. I'm happy enough just to go to work Monday to Friday, and I don't even go out in Balbriggan much. I don't even enjoy watching football in the pub, but just sit at home and watch the football.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I know I come across a bit of banter, but I couldn't be arsed listening to people talking about football. You know, everyone thinks they know everything.
In a pub.
You don't even get to enjoy it much, you know, that kind of way.
That's just Balbriggan in general.
Yeah.
It's I
used to go down to the milestone, watch them in the bar, I used to have good times, but I used to go to a lot of games, but because I was away a lot, I didn't used to get to go as much, but still go occasionally, but just work, play a few gigs, and I'm happy enough doing that, you know, and I'm a family guy, and that's what I am.
That's it.
So
that's
all you want.
It is what it is.
It is
what it is. Well, yeah, cheers having me on. Maybe we
can thanks very much.
Keep up the good work, you know. Maybe we can touch base another time. We'll do a live one somewhere on this theatre gets built, yeah.
We got a live set. You can
do a live set.
Yeah, live set behind
next year.
Yeah, if you want. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, 100%. You can play in between. All you do is that you can play after me. You can sing and read the song get ripped off.
Now we'll be singing our own.
I said to Shannon Murray on Saturday. I said it didn't get the shout to be the compares. It was a bit disappointing.
Right.
Listening now, hopefully we've.
That's it. But
what's the name again? Owen, what was it?
Owen Richardson.
Owen Richardson. I'll send John them short, yeah. I'll get another year out of him. Another year.
But look, alright, thanks very much.
Cheers,
it's Paul.
Sorry, Paul.
I'm joking. No problem.
Thanks very much for coming on.
Best luck in the future, and keep the good work up.
Cheers, our lad.
Cheers.
And see you next week.
See you all next week, guys and ladies.